Okay, right. We're here to talk about teaching. We're here to talk about how we learn, what we're teaching them. It was interesting to hear a lot of your feedback regarding the curricula. We'll definitely look at that tomorrow, the day after, etc. What I want you to do first is to think about 2 lessons, seminars, presentations, any occasion where you are in a learning environment, and just quickly note down the best lesson, whatever you've done or you've been present at, and the worst. What was the best lesson you've been to, or you've given even, and the worst, and why? Okay, let's start with the worst experiences. What was your worst classroom experience? Ali? No, we'll start with Ali and then we'll go to... Yes, sir.
University.
University, okay. Yeah. Why? Why was it so bad?
He's proud of us as a student or as smaller than him. Or like
okay, so he spoke down to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
I was talking all the time, from the very beginning of the lesson until I left the class without saying anything, because it was very boring indeed.
Talking in Arabic or in English?
Most of the time in Arabic.
Okay, fine.
Just talking all the time.
So teacher talking time. Okay, thank you. Khalid?
It was with the teacher at the elementary stage.
Right.
He was very strict. He used a stick to punish us.
Punish you. So you were a student in this.
Yeah. And we felt horrible when we just hear about his name or.
Okay. Right. So the stick doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't work. Okay.
No.
Right. Okay. Great. Thank you, Ali.
As he said, of course, the teacher used the stick, and of course, he made it complicated for me for the rest of my life.
So yeah, okay. It's interesting, isn't it? I think what's becoming clear is that the worst lessons generally depend on the teacher. Yeah, it's not necessarily our attitude when we go in, it's the way that the teacher deals with it. What about the best lessons?
When I was a student, we taught by a distinguished teacher,
Okay.
It is a lesson, it is about buying and selling, He took us to the cafeteria, it is a school cafeteria, and we practiced real situation. And I couldn't forget this information.
Interesting. So you did something real.
Yes, because it is real.
You put the
Practice real.
Right. Was that a language lesson?
Yeah.
English lesson.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
It shows to the student the other cultures and how they greet, for example, handshaking, fist palms together, bow to each other in some cultures. It also gives the teacher the chance to and the opportunity to use the body language, which is very important in English.
Listen, I have joined a teacher after that, and he presented his lesson through games. From the very beginning to the end of the lesson, the pupils were playing games.
Okay.
So they have a totally chance to practice the language, and they were it was very funny.
Right.
And of course it was very beneficial at the same time.
But very hard work.
Very, very beneficial.
For the teacher. Yeah. Beneficial? Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they practice the language.
So, would we agree that these are key aspects, perhaps for a good lesson? We need to create maybe real situations, show them the use of the language and when you would use it, going to the cafeteria or whatever. The content needs to be of interest. It needs to be. You talked about motivation being key to your students. Okay, right. The teacher's credibility. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Use of activities and games. Is that common? Is that something that your teachers want? It's not common. Okay, right. And the personalization. Is that again something? Is that common? Is that used a lot, or is it something which? No. Okay. Well, we'll have a look at these in a minute. I think, if I wanted, probably the best lesson that I ever went to, and the most useful lesson, was a lesson on study skills. study skills because it enabled me, or it gave me the tools that I needed to then go away and study. And it's something that I've carried with me. So, for example, we're talking about games and activities. We say they're useful. It's something perhaps we want to give to our teachers. You know, you as supervisors will want to go back and say, here's a list of activities we can do. Let's just try some now. The study skills lesson that I followed gave me a really clear idea of how to plan and to take note of activities and games, because otherwise we forget them. Got a question for you. It's not a trick question. The question is, what do you do? It normally gets that. What do you do? What do you actually do?
Well, we have to look at the good ways of teaching.
Okay.
And taught also teach the teachers how to deal with students.
Okay, but I was just curious to know what you actually did as supervisors, because obviously in different countries, supervisors or inspectors have different roles. So your job is to help, a sort of support to the teachers with methodology, with the curriculum.
With the aids also.
Okay.
Different aids of applying assignments to the class.
Okay, right. Okay. What does the teacher do? Right, we are all teachers, or have been at some stage. So we all do exactly the same thing? Will we teach in exactly the same way?
No.
Of course not. Okay. So we've had what? How do you do what you do? How does a teacher do what he does or she does? I think this is the key question. Why do you do what you do and not teach? I presume you were given the choice. You know, would you like to become a supervisor or would you like to carry on teaching? Why did you choose to become a supervisor? Ali?
To help the teacher to transfer good idea or good way or good strategies from teacher to other teacher.
Why do the teachers do what they do?
To give the students sufficient knowledge for their what is called jobs, for their life, for their future.
Right. And I think that a lot of people, a lot of teachers especially, you know, actually you get to the stage where you think, well, actually, you know, why did I choose the teaching profession? I have 35, 40 boys, however many classes, I have, you know, a lot of work, a lot of marking.
For many aims, for many goals.
Absolutely. Because but I think teachers generally are in teaching, generally speaking, because they like it. Because they feel as though they have something to give and are able, as you said, to be facilitators and to teach something. So I think there are quite interesting, quite important questions about, you know, what we do. Well, I'm a teacher. How do you do it? Well, crikey, how do I do it? I think about the language that needs to be taught. I look at the syllabus. I look at the structures of the language that I need to teach, and I would plan my program around that. Why do I do it? Why do I do it? Because I'm paid to do it? Not enough. So that's not the reason. Sorry?
I think this is the most difficult question.
It is the most difficult.
It's the motive for every person is different.
Absolutely.
We are different in our motivation.
Yeah.
Some of us have intrinsic motivation, some of us have extrinsic motivation, some of us have very, very special motives and incentives. Some things means something for you, but they do not mean anything for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is the most difficult question.
Yeah. Where you get your satisfaction from in teaching. Because you must have wanted to become a teacher when after university, after you'd finished you all have language degrees, I presume. Yeah. You had a choice, did you not? You may have become translators, you may have become teachers, you may have gone on to become business people. You chose the teaching profession. Why, I think, is important. Okay. So, just want a quick look at the objectives. What I wanted to do was go a little bit further and see what you actually want to do. You mentioned the curriculum. let me get this very straight. When you say curriculum, do you mean to look at the book in detail, almost unit by unit, and see the progression, and see, or do you mean having sample lessons? What do you mean by curriculum? So we're looking at the book contents. Yes? Is that when you say curriculum? It's one, yeah, okay. Let's have a list of things that we mean by curriculum, because it'll help me to understand clearly, and then I can do things for tomorrow and the other days. So we're looking at the book contents. And that might mean the syllabus, you said. Okay. That might mean teaching materials. The materials, the methodology the book follows. Okay, yeah.
Teaching aids.
Yeah, so the components. Okay, teaching aids, the components. The objectives of the course, yeah, absolutely. The objectives of the course. So what do we expect our students to be able to do at the end of this course? Great. Anything else?
Curriculum also means the environment, the classroom itself.
Okay. So it also means the classroom environment. And that means what? So looking at learner strategies, looking at how we can deal with the classroom management.
Suitable to the students' culture.
Okay, so but the course, yeah, okay. Is the course suitable to the students' culture? Yeah, okay, right. So your objective is to leave this room with this information for get ready 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lift off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and flying high 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah? Excellent. Good. Good, good, good. Right. What I also wanted to ask you is, I put up a list of things which I thought might be of interest to you. Things which go beyond necessarily looking specifically at the book. What I'd like you to do, 5 minutes, look at that list and include technology, so wikis, blogs, IWBs, things like that. Look at that list and write a list or number them. The thing which is most interesting to you to the thing that's least interesting to you, just so that we can get an idea of the other things that you're interested in looking at, if there are other things you're interested in looking at. How we learn? Is how we learn popular? Top half or bottom half of your lists? Top half. So we can start with a bit of how we learn maybe and see if that remains on our wish list. How we learn. What do you expect that session to be about?
Studying skills.
Studying the skills, perhaps, okay. Or more about, also about things, you know, how we actually learn. What does that mean? No? It's Italian. Yeah. Can you stand up, please? Can you stand up, please? Adesso sedetevi, per piacere. Sedetevi, per piacere. Sedetevi. Sediamoci. Sediamoci. Alzatevi, per piacere. Alzatevi. Alzatevi. Stand up. Alzo. Sedetevi. Sedere, per piacere. What's going on there? Maybe some learning.
This is physical response.
Total physical response. Wonderful, absolutely. Yeah, is learning happening?
Yes.
How's that happening? Yeah. Okay, so that we may maybe in how we learn, perhaps we look at that. But can we spend the whole time doing total physical response and teach using total physical response? Maybe there are other methods. So how we learn would be about that, learning strategies as well. Learner autonomy, top half or bottom half? Top half for everybody? Yasin? Yeah, you like learner autonomy? You're interested in that? Okay. Pronunciation. In the middle. In the middle. Ali's got it in the middle. Yeah? In the middle. I've got it here. It's substitute. It could come on later if needs be. Here we've got obviously the difference between productive and receptive skills, listening and writing skills. Top half, bottom half. Listening and writing is top half. What about speaking and writing is top half. What about listening and reading? Both. Okay, so.
I think listening is before.
Right, so listening is important. Right, interaction. It's the first one for you. Okay. Planning?
Yes.
Top. You like planning. Okay, yeah. Classroom culture. What I mean by classroom culture is the atmosphere that is created by the teacher and how the teacher can create that atmosphere.
The most important.
Good. Okay. Is everybody happy with that? I mean, that's quite a lot, actually. Teaching aids. We're going to do a lot of activities with that anyway. So, that would definitely be something we're going to look at. Yeah. So we'll cover that. Good. Okay. I think it's time for a break. Right. We're going to start this session with a quick activity, thinking about our teachers. Thinking about what is expected. I say you. What I mean is I want you to put yourselves in the shoes of your teachers. What do your teachers expect of their students? And what do the students expect of their teacher? Okay? 2 minutes. Write down as many things as you can. 2 minutes. What do your teachers expect of their students?
Participation.
Okay.
Engaging in the group work. If there is group work, you should be engaged in this group work.
Okay.
To be motivated. Motivation.
So to participate, to be motivated, autonomous.
Use English in their daily activities.
Use the English L2 in this case. Yeah.
Be active, not passive.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be working hard.
Use the language they learn among each other.
Okay, so use the L2.
So it was different.
Yeah, well, that's okay. The specific language learnt in that lesson. Okay, fine. What about the students' expectations of the teacher?
Be friendly,
Okay.
explicit.
To use most modern methodology and technology.
Give him a chance to use the language which
Okay,
they-
so, yeah, so to create the opportunity
To be
for
shy.
language usage. Okay.
not to be there.
Anything else? Any other expectations? Are these expectations met, do you think? If we think about our students, do they participate actively? It varies. From school to school, class to class, teacher to teacher, okay. Are they intrinsically motivated? You often talk about intrinsic motivation and extrinsic. Are they intrinsically motivated to learn the language? Can they see a use for language, the language they're learning outside of the classroom, in the big world?
The students themselves should know why do they learn English. So, I mean, motivation. I remember I have a tour of some countries, some regions in Saudi
Right.
Arabia, and asked them about the grade for the students in grade third grade, and asked them, how about next year? Do you like to learn English? Most of them say yes. 90% of the students says yes, we like it.
Right.
So, but I mean, the motivation goes highly if they know the goals that why the language.
Key question, isn't it? What expectations we have of our students and what they expect from us as well. And do you think this will change? This changes as they grow older. Here, are we talking about primary? Do you think? If we talk about, I don't know, grade 12 or grade 11, does it change? Expectations might not change. Okay. I've got a questionnaire here for you. A questionnaire which looks at the teacher, more specifically. I'd like you to think about your teachers and just try and plot the way you think your teachers would reply to this. Okay, let's just quickly go through it and see general opinions. Do you think your teachers feel confident about their use of English?
I agree. With the primary stage.
At the primary stage, we think they're happy. They feel confident. Yes? Intermediate stage?
Also intermediate.
Okay. Secondary stage? It varies. Okay, interesting. So the higher the language level required. Okay, right. Are your teachers happy with their methods when they're teaching young learners?
It's not number 3. It's number 3. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm using the most appropriate methods for teaching young learners. You strongly agree that a lot of people aren't happy or aren't confident with the methods they're using.
The methods of teaching.
Methods for teaching primary. Yeah. Okay, good. I like meeting and making friends with people from English-speaking countries. Strongly agree. I can't teach English effectively because of my heavy workload. You're thinking about it as a teacher, not as a supervisor here.
We have this excuse too much.
Okay, so teachers sometimes feel that the workload is too much. Marking. It seemed to me that the one thing that a lot of teachers were talking about was the marking. Marking exact tests and marking activities and work and homework. Assignments that the students have to do.
The number of periods during the week, within a week.
The number of periods
They
within
are
a week.
complaining sometimes.
Okay. My young learners are interested in learning English.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We've said that generally this is what we expect, but this is also what we get. Yeah. Okay. And finally, do you think your teachers do worry about their level of English?
Sometimes we feel that.
Sometimes you feel that. Okay. Miss Nora. Miss Nora. What's his name? Where is he? Mr. Okay. Who's this? What's his name?
John.
What did you say?
Tom.
Unbelievable. What's her name? Alice. And his name? Walid. What's her name? Nora. Miss Nora. What's her name? Fatima. Finally,
Ali.
yes, sir.
Looks like
Okay.
Yasin.
Rosso. Okay. Verde.
Tom.
Fantastic. Very good. Verde. Verde. Rosso.
Yes.
Verde. Rosso.
No, yes.
Rakan. Verde. Nero.
Tom.
Here you are. Could you put them up with the help of your colleagues?
She's the one.
Yes, sir. Okay, are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, flashcards. What's the point of this exercise? What can I give my students? What are we looking at here? Concentration. Memory. Reaction. Recalling it. Absolutely. Yeah. What else are we looking at? Activation. It's motivating. Group work. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm getting my students to read. So we're looking at also aspects of script. Yeah?
I think it's good for warming up.
Yeah. And they also need to know the characters from the book. Because these are all the characters that are in the book who will accompany them throughout the course. So it's just a fun activity to start. What else could I do with this now?
You could change the letters instead of the pictures themselves. Yeah.
Yes, instead of the pictures, you use the names.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they have to
Yeah, that's
read.
right.
Okay. Each group write their names give them each a little piece of blue tack and go and put their names, so we're looking at their ability to write the script as well. I can also check the difference between what's his name, what's her name. So I may not just be satisfied next time with Mr. Walid or with Miss Nora. I might want them to say, okay, so what's his name? I might say, okay. And then I might say, his name is, his name's Mr. Walid. Okay, so what's his name?
His name is.
His name is. Names. Wonderful. His name's. Okay. What's her name?
Her name is.
Okay, so I can look at contractions. I can look at developing. Yeah, the answers. How many activities you can do and how many different things you can look at. We can look at pronunciation. We can make sure that they are contracting correctly.
And the meaning also.
We can check meaning.
Yes.
We can check accuracy. Interaction. Yeah, we can check fluency. And if I wanted to, I could use these. You know. And you can have little class competitions to see who gets the most stickers every day or whatever. There are lots of stickers. I mean, there's some of them Macmillan stickers. Well done. I'm sure you know. These are quite fun. And you can find them anywhere. Well, in the UK you can find them anywhere. Give prizes with stickers, something like that. I'm just going to give you a card or two. Hopefully there'll be a card for everybody. The image should be a command, because it's important to have a fixed set of commands, because otherwise it's confusing for your students. They need to know. Right from the beginning, we were talking about classroom management, we were talking about aspects of dealing with the class on a daily basis. They need to know symbols. What's he doing? Yeah, you do it as well.
Look.
You.
Over there.
You over there. Yeah, or answer could be, yeah, you answer please, indicating for an answer. Absolutely. Would be an acceptable gesture. Yeah, if you've got.
Even sometimes it is rude, sometimes
Okay.
Acceptable.
Okay.
Generally acceptable.
Generally acceptable.
You.
Look.
What do you think it means?
I think repeat after me.
Okay.
Your turn. It's your turn.
I've modelled it. You repeat it. What's your act it? Yeah, act it.
Maybe keep going or continue.
Could be. If it's that. I think if he's doing this, it means continue talking or. Absolutely. It is important to make sure that teachers have a very clear idea that they need to develop that. Do you think it's something that teachers do systematically? Are they consistent with hand signals tied to the rubrics? Because it's one of the first pages of the books. So it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
When do you suggest teachers use Arabic in class?
It is unavoidable situation. When you feel that the pupil will not understand you unless you speak Arabic.
Okay.
So at this time, it is a matter of must.
Okay.
When you encounter abstract words, words that cannot see or touch, these words needs to be translated.
What I'd like to do is actually get you in groups of 3. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. You 3. You 3. And you 3. 5 minutes we've got. When to use a list of suggestions to your teachers, when to use, when not to use L1.
They will not learn English at all when you teach them using Arabic, especially for the children, the primary stage. He suggested that using language one.
Because I imagine at intermediate school, we would want to speak almost 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, yeah. Yeah, okay. It's easier just to say it quickly in Arabic and then, yeah, absolutely.
Things that cannot be touched, or things that we cannot touch or see. We save time.
What would you say? What would be the first thing? When would you use, when is it acceptable to use Arabic?
we said that in the beginning of the academy here, when the pupils are, they were not exposed to the language.
Okay, so you wanted to say?
I think it depends on the skills of the teacher, okay? The amount of Arabic he can use, okay? For example, some of the teacher, by his skills, by his gesturing, by his moving, does not need to use Arabic.
If I'm teaching sort of a lexical set or whatever, or a grammar rule, which is my target language, and another word comes in which I'm not concentrating on, would it be acceptable just to say, just for the purposes of the lesson, so I can move on to look at what I'm actually teaching, oh, that is in Arabic. I can tell them in Arabic, just because that's not what I'm teaching. I'm not interested that they know, at the moment, the name for that. Sometimes it's necessary, just for the, we have 45 minutes. We can't waste time trying to, invent or mime or act a word which is not necessary for the lesson. Because if I'm teaching the third conditional and they want to know what data projector is, I'm not interested. I want to stay with my grammar lesson. I think one interesting and one good point to start when we're talking to our teachers is, fundamentally, we should be speaking in English. There will be times when it is necessary to, to give instructions. There may be times when you want to give instructions in Arabic, but generally I think people can actually use their hands, their body language, very effectively. Okay, so I think fundamentally we should be, first message that I would give to any teacher in a teacher training situation would be, speak in English. You've got very limited amount of time. If they're not learning English when they're with you, when are they going to learn it? Explaining meanings of words when it's not target language, I would say. Or if it's a time saver, if it's not a key word for my lesson. This, I agree, abstract terms, the word faith probably is more appropriate just to give a quick translation. You have to. It's too big a concept to absolutely, yeah. And complex grammar points. Obviously here we're talking about the intermediate or the secondary, because grammar isn't actively taught as a grammar point, because it's conceptually too difficult at primary level. What's the difference between the usage of the present perfect and past simple? I'm not saying translate I have been, I went, but I might say, I don't know, I might do a little drawing. I went, I have been, it's still 2011. This is finished. This isn't. Yeah. So, but I might put it into Italian if I think it's going to help them. But I would absolutely agree with you. 99% you should be doing these things in English. So, if we're looking at things, when do we use Arabic at L1? Very, very rarely. And but I think people like to know. Well, give instructions if they're complex, and if you haven't got any alternative. Otherwise, always in English. Explain meanings of words if it's time-saving and if it's not target language. Complex ideas, usage, not translation. And, again, grammar points, complex grammar points, perhaps. These are suggestions, but I think you can see it's limited. The use of Arabic is limited. Students. When can students use Arabic?
I think here we have to be flexible.
A little bit flexible, yeah. We can't, oh, what are you doing? No, okay, yeah. Express frustrations concerning their lack of understanding. Because it's still showing participation, isn't it? They can't say, excuse me, I really don't understand what you're saying. They have to say it in Arabic because they may be 7 years old and they've only just started learning. So perhaps, would you accept that? Possible, yeah. Clarify meaning of words in L2. Sorry, answer. Does answer mean ajib?
At the
Yeah.
beginning,
Perhaps. Again, it shows interest, it shows motivation, it shows they want to learn, yeah. Find new words in L2 which correspond to already known words in L1. So they would do that in Arabic. So, how do you say that? Or yeah, words which have, yeah, absolutely. Use language to process complex concepts. So they would give you an explanation. Sorry, so you use the present perfect to talk about things which you've done but are of interest or of relevance now. Would you accept that if your students are talking to you like that in Arabic? You wouldn't. They wouldn't like that, of course they wouldn't, but yeah. But you know, but I'm saying, you know, sometimes students do say, you know, there are students who will ask you, and it's, you know, it's just easier for them to ask you in Arabic. Would we accept that?
If the teacher needs to use simply to clarify, I agree about this.
Okay.
You know, because it is just it is a trace, or I mean the way that the student should move on.
Absolutely, yeah.
If he doesn't, if it's not clear for the students, they will miss.
Of course. Would you accept that the students ask for better understanding, or ask if they have understood and explain what they have understood in Arabic about an English grammar term or an English? Would you be happy with that? If I've understood correctly, the use of the first conditional is this, this and this. And if they say that in Arabic, is that acceptable? They want to check that they've understood what you've said.
For some students, not at all.
Okay.
Yes.
But if it's a very short,
Yeah.
keep it to a minimum, yes, that's right. For example, if I is an example.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you reiterate in L2. And then build shared meaning while evaluating written tasks through shared discussion. So occasionally discussing something in Arabic about something that they did, a project that they did in English. Fixing what they've learnt about the language. Would you accept that? But generally speaking, I think the thing we need to promote is the use of English. Absolutely. Right. Let's move on. You have, at the beginning of the primary book, the teachers are shown this. First lesson, Majib, Ajib, Ajib, Ajib. Answer, answer. Students, from today on, this is Ajib, this is answer. Just the rubrics, the use of L1, L2 is encouraged right from the start, and it has to be. And that's where we should be. That's where the teacher should be there. You often talk about the methods and the different methods and the communicative method. People will learn by copying. Copying. And people will learn by hearing it, being exposed to the language. So we've got to give them exposure. So, okay, right. What are the out of school influences? Would you agree that their peer group, their friends, their classmates, will be a key influence on the student? Yeah? Absolutely. Yeah, big influence. Their parents. Parents are a key influencer, certainly. Yeah. Local youth culture. The media, we can't really affect that very much. This, I think, we can affect. And I've got some work for you. Learning process, school culture and materials. Two groups, quite big groups. One group, second group. There you have 5 pieces of paper. What I would like you to do is to think of as many possible ways in which you as the supervisor, you as a teacher, affect the learning process of our students.
For example, the teacher himself should be capable to use. Okay, if you give him, for example, flashcards, if he is not capable to use the flashcards, okay, so.
And even
It's an interesting subject, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
It's fascinating because suddenly everything opens up and you think, well, actually, which are the schools that perform better? Why do they perform better? Because I would imagine within your districts there will be schools that get better results than other schools. Why? They have teachers, they have a headmaster. What's the difference? the facilities, perhaps? Is it? But is it just a question of the facilities, or is it how the facilities are used? How can we influence the learning process? Okay, what have you got?
Okay. For example, if the teacher try to speak about the pupil's interests.
Okay, so personalisation, making as much of a personal experience as is possible.
Planning.
How many times do lessons go well when you've planned and when don't? So absolutely. Planning, fundamental. One here?
If the teacher also use the enjoyment strategy, if you use more educational games, more fun stuff.
Educational games. Because there's a very, very dangerous games for the sake of games or educational games. Absolutely.
Selecting the best and suitable materials for the children.
Choice of materials. What are you going to use for that lesson? Are we going to be using the flashcards? Are we going to be using the... Can we ask the students to bring in materials from their home, which we can then use in class? Absolutely, the choice of materials.
If the teacher use the role play technique, for example.
If it's appropriate in that part of the lesson, role play. Why not? Making it appropriate. Okay?
Next. Another point.
Yeah.
The class environment is very important.
Okay.
That students feel safe and comfortable.
Absolutely. We'll look at that, classroom management, because I absolutely agree. Fundamental. Yeah. Okay.
If the teacher spark his pupils' curiosity.
Okay.
Through questions or through some tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
Curiosity strategy.
Stimulate the students.
Yes, stimulate, provoke student strategy.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Use of aids effectively. This is, I think, it's very important.
Effective use of the aids. Absolutely. Okay. One more.
If the teacher, for example, stimulate his pupil autonomy, positive thoughts toward the language also. Autonomy.
Right. Which is difficult, isn't it, with mixed ability classes, looking at how autonomous some students are and less or more. Absolutely autonomous. So the learning process we can influence greatly. What about the methods? What do we have for methods?
Directed to the target, to the goal, suitable to the stage. Also saves time.
So dumb up or dumb down the lesson depending on the need. Absolutely. Okay.
Variety of methods according to the level of students.
Choosing an appropriate method.
If we use variety of methods, we will overcome the problem of boredom, okay, and the
Variation of lessons. Yeah, absolutely. The teacher as an influencer.
Well prepared.
Well prepared. Plan. Lesson. Well prepared. Well qualified. Interesting. Okay. Friendly.
Motivated.
Motivated. Positive.
Serious.
Competent. Yeah, competent in English.
Balanced.
Balanced.
Provoking.
Be aware of students' needs. Absolutely.
As a parent.
Well behaved. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We need people who are good teachers, being a whole list of things. School culture. It's interesting. School culture. School culture accounts for a lot. How can we change the school culture? What can we do to change that?
Active school management.
Right.
Competition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Does it reflect what the student wants for themselves? Absolutely.
Connected to the society.
And how can we, in real terms, can we do this? Can we now go back to the schools and try and have a project or something which promotes change in school culture? Finally, materials.
Should be clear and simple and easy to use.
Right. Okay.
It should be suitable to the students, either the culture or the age, and also it should be well planned and designed.
Right.
And it should be produced by the students themselves.
It should be attractive.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
And effective use of material. Colorful.
Okay. Yeah. Similar things.
They are colorful, they will be better.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Color or what have you.
More
Okay.
modern.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Just to recap, what my objective for today was basically to introduce some aspects of teaching, looking at aspects like influences, We haven't looked specifically at the courses because before I did that, I wanted to know from you, which is what we did at the beginning, what you wanted from the sessions. So what I will do, if you're happy with this, is for tomorrow, the day after, and the day after that, I will give you, maybe tomorrow we'll look at Get Ready, on Saturday we'll look at Lift Off, and on Sunday we'll look at FHSA. And I will take examples from the book and looking at the areas that we chose to look at. So we will look at, for example, how we learn and learner strategies through the book. Okay, we will look at learner autonomy and developing learner autonomy through one of the course books. Are you happy to do that? And I will also give you an overview of the structure and the syllabus of each course. Yes? Have you enjoyed today? Honestly. I mean, I get you to do a lot of work, because otherwise I think it would be very, very dull and a very long day. Are you happy to continue working like that?
Yeah.
I would like to say how wonderful it's been for me this morning, because everybody is participating brilliantly, and look forward to another day tomorrow. Thank you.